What would you say to the person that would say, Sho, that's all good and philosophically interesting, but it sounds like you're taking a step down from being specific about the gospel and the solution,
right,
and backing up and just dealing with more of the beauty of what's true about art and things like that. Why not? Why is like kind of a close but no cigar thing?
Well, I guess I can answer, and in some ways I am, in a sense. Like I guess you could say, yeah, I am taking a step back in the perception of what the church, present-day church, sees the gospel message as. Like, so yeah, I am removing myself from being very explicit on talking about the cross and yada, yada, yada. But the issue is that I think that we've used art to replace the lifestyle that we are supposed to live in the first place. Like, I'm not changing the life that I'm living when and ultimately, when you listen to my music, you're going to hear that I'm Christian anyway.
Right.
Like, I feel like, and this is also not going to say that I'm going to exclude the fact that I'm going to talk about anything religious. Like, I'm just not going to, that's not the only thing I'm going to talk about is the things that Christians understand.
So what are some other things?
Oh, no, I was about, well, go ahead.
What are some other things you're going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about, for one is, how do people see love? Like, love. I don't feel like Christians have enough songs about. I think that's the main thing that we struggle with. Like, you wonder why people divorce. You wonder why relationships are all jacked up. It's because nobody talks about love. You just assume that just because Jesus died on the cross, we're all supposed to have. Like, if I write enough songs about Jesus died on the cross, then we're supposed to have this love thing all together.
Right.
And I'm like there's an application to the understanding on what that love looks like and what it should look like in a relationship between a man and a woman, but also, in same sex in the sense of that nature. How do we build relationships in light of the gospel affecting our lives? You know what I mean? So that racism, which you can't talk about in church because 90% of the churches that you perform at are white churches. And so if I go up there and I start rebuking, or vice versa, if I start talking about the ridiculousness that you see in black churches, like these things are taboo. Yeah. Like these are taboo issues that nobody wants to talk about. If I feel the need to rap about politics or things that happen in other countries, just social injustices, things that rappers don't talk about because, one, I feel like we've been so inept, like we don't read anything outside of theological stuff. Yep. And so now we don't even know about sociology. We don't know about philosophy because all we do is all we read is what's the next hot what pastor is putting out the next hot book so that I can learn more about the new church slang, church planning. And it's like, rappers, you are not pastors. You are artists. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Communicate what the culture needs. Like, that's, artists are provocative. And I don't see Christian artists being provocative. Like, they're not provoking anything.
Well, don't you?
And I have an issue. One of the things that you guys are going to have to pray for me is that I'm a pendulum dude. Yeah. And so I can have the tendency now that I don't want to be involved in that particular structure, that I can be so strong about how I feel that it makes it seem like I'm also coming against. Yeah. And I don't want to be that at all. But the other thing is, I also don't want people to understand is that I do want people to understand that I'm not doing is saying that my music is not going to be for Christians anymore. Yeah. My music is still going to be from Christians, but it's also, I'm also thinking greater than just church lingo and church culture. So I still want the church to support my music. I still want people to be like, yo, that's my dude. I still wouldn't mind performing at churches. Yeah. But the thing is don't get upset when you see me doing a song with somebody who's not a Christian, possibly. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or don't get upset me when you see me getting a beat from somebody who's not a Christian.
And explain that, because I love that breakdown. So
the examples of that, even though obviously people will say that they were slaves and they really didn't have a choice, but the reality of it is that they were placed in a situation where they were in let's just say Christian environments for the sake of the conversation. So they were the only real, believing, Yahweh believing individuals in their circles, but they still did a couple things. They still served these non-Yahweh believing individuals, not only because they felt like this is what God wanted them to do, but they believed that their success would also increase the success of that city or that nation. And God demanded that they do that. Like, your welfare and what you do, and obviously I'm stealing a lot from Keller. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm...
That's fine. I love Keller.
Some of this is not original.
Ritz and Tim Keller got something going on.
Shout out to my boy TK.
T-Kells.
T-Kells, that sounds better. T-Kells. So basically, what you'll see in a lot of the Joseph and the Daniel is that God is encouraging these men to, like, your welfare will also benefit the city, and the city will thrive. And I want you to be amongst the non-believers and do your work. Do not compromise. Obviously, don't lose faith. Don't become like the pagans, but live amongst them, prosper with them, work with them. Yeah. And guess what? Daniel and Joseph both rose in stature and in status because they were excellent at what they did. Wow. How about it if more Christians decided to be excellent at what they did outside of just Christian vocation, ran companies, you know what I'm saying, and did great things, but now you're great influencers. So now you get to stand next to presidents and CEOs.
Come on.
And you have influence. You get to change the way that culture is shifted and made.
Come on. Not only that, and the alternative is to just create a cocoon wherein you can do your thing, and everybody in your little cocoon can pat you on the back for saying the cutest, nicest phrases and the nice things to keep us going inside the cocoon.
Yep, no doubt.
I hear you, brother, saying you want to get out the cocoon. Brother, I hear you saying you want to stretch your wings. Brother, I see.
There's a lot implied in that. Yes, I do want to get out the cocoon. I don't want people to be like, yo, so what you trying to say? You trying to diss like
No. Okay, yeah.
Our Christian hip hop.
Let me take it down a little bit because I wasn't. Yeah, I have no.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know.
I have no ill.
I don't want people who are listening.
Yeah.
Trying to be.
And you're right. But the reality is that a lot of people are going to take this and do whatever you want because that's just how people are.
I think some of the artists would agree with me who I've labored with. We were very dogmatic at times about how Christian artists especially should act and conduct themselves. And I do feel because there's probably stuff out there, interviews, just thoughts and things that I've said or printed that probably go against some of what I believe now. And that I do feel like now I do in some ways feel there's somewhat of an explanation needed. Not that I get people's approval, but that it's almost like look, this is kind of like where I am now. Because also I feel like this is revolutionary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I'm also like, the whole reason why we do the Untamed Podcast is so that we can get Christians and to stop thinking outside of just the Christian bubble and talk about life from the biblical perspective. And so I just feel like what I'm doing is just an extension of the podcast almost. Like. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Man, I got to tell you, show my heart on my sleeve at this point. But no, I'm good.
Your little Guinness?
Nah, I'm good. I've never been prouder of you, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's one of those things where you're right. It's the nest is comfortable, man. But just knowing you as a friend and knowing what God's put in you, man, it's good to see you jump out that nest. It's gonna feel like you falling for a minute. But boy, when you learn how to spread them wings. Woo, boy, you take it, spread them wings.
He always got a word.
He
always got a word.
When you learn how to spread them wings, man, is what I'm telling you. It's gonna be good. But here's the thing, man. I think this is so needed, man. Not only that, but the fact that it would be one thing if you were just any old dude, right? Any old just Christian dude, but a guy who understands the culture, right? Who understands the word, the Lord, who loves the Lord, who has a network of strong believers to hold him accountable, and understands culture, to get replugged back in, if you will, into the world. Because a lot of us aren't. A lot of us are totally disconnected from the world, and which creates this us versus them mentality that we hear a lot in the music, we hear it in the things like that, and so there's such a great disconnect. And my contention is, if you are that disconnected, you certainly can't be approach it in a loving perspective, because to really truly love somebody, you got to get involved and you got to know them when it's real foot level love, not that cerebral, oh, I love you, kind of. I love unbelievers because I'm supposed to pray for them and I want them to come to know. I'm talking about love them outside of the gospel, where that you are concerned about their family, you're concerned about what happens in their life from a day-to-day perspective, in or outside of Christ. And that takes time, man, and that takes being willing to get your hands dirty. And so I would be concerned if it wasn't Sho.
Right.
The fact that it's you, man, and the fact that I know your submission to the Holy Spirit and to the Lord, man, I'm encouraged. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what the Lord's going to do.
If y'all hear me leaving my church,
yeah,
then y'all need to start worrying about me.
Yeah.
That's when I start going on the deep end. When I start doing crazy stuff.
I'm telling everybody.
But nah, man, I appreciate
Catch the
that.
podcast. It's on podcast.
Yeah, man.